Hello, my name is Mark. You're watching Mark, and we're going to be going over the top 5 Civil War blunders. We're going to be taking a look at the most diabolical mistakes, errors, gaffes, faults, and slip-ups all throughout the Civil War from both angles, Union and Confederate. If there are any blunders I missed, please tell me in the comments. Now let's get right into it, shall we? Starting the war in the first place. The Civil War in and of itself can accurately be described as a Confederate blunder. Secretary of State Robert Toombs called the war a suicidal blunder that would doom the Confederacy and begged President Jefferson Davis to reconsider. The South could never even hope to win against this. It's unclear to know if Lincoln wanted a war, but his actions suggest that he may have hoped to bait the Confederates into starting one. Lincoln had been repeatedly advised to evacuate a federal installation in Charleston, South Carolina called Fort Sumter, unless he wanted war. If this name seems familiar to some of you all, that's because it is. However, when U.S. ships attempted to resupply it, the Confederates took the bait, accusing Lincoln of conducting hostile operations in Confederate waters. On April 10, 1861, the Confederate government declared war on the United States. The Civil War had officially begun, and the Confederacy's fate had been sealed. Number 4. Hood's suicide assault. After a failed encirclement of Union forces, Hood's desire for revenge resulted in one of the war's worst blunders, bar none, one which permanently broke the Army of Tennessee. Hood threw 23,000 men against Union hilltop positions near Franklin, Tennessee. These Confederate forces, without artillery support and armed with only single-shot muskets and rifles, stood no chance against the U.S. forces on the high ground, who were armed with 16-shot repeating rifles. Unsurprisingly, the battle was a horrific massacre. Hood's outgunned and outnumbered soldiers suffered over 6,000 casualties, which is 20% of his army. This was catastrophic, and a sad end for an army that fought so hard and so well despite its commanders. Number 3. Augusta Arsenal. The Union failure to capture Augusta Arsenal was a major mistake for the Union. Augusta Arsenal was the biggest gunpowder storage of the Confederacy. The Union knew that, so Grant sent Major General William T. Sherman to go cover the area. And what did Sherman do? Although winning Atlanta, which was 130 miles east of Augusta, he did jack shit. He didn't put much thought into it. Sherman had plenty of opportunities to destroy the gunpowder and also destroy the railroads leading to Augusta, but never did. The Confederacy, taking advantage of this, moved 100,000 pounds of gunpowder into Richmond, where Lee's armies got it, and in total, 400,000 pounds of gunpowder was saved by the Confederacy. Ah yes, the Battle of Antietam. What a beautiful place. Got birds chirping, cannons firing, horses. This guy's a cool beard too. What could possibly go wrong? Only the second worst blunder in the Civil War. This was the battle between Ambrose Burnside and Robert Toombs, the guy who called Jefferson Davis a bozo. In the midst of Antietam, Burnside lost his patience and started rushing the bridge. Toombs ended up destroying Burnside's forces and taking the bridge. How many Union lives were saved? Not much. What did Burnside's assaults achieve? Not much. What did Toombs lose from this? You guessed it. Not much. Bro's failure became immortalized in the name Burnside Bridge. Any honorable mentions? The rubric didn't specify. And for number 1, Shiloh. Don't celebrate too early. Grant and Johnston, two titans of their own sides. The Confederates used every advantage possible to push back the Union troops, and ended up pushing them all the way back to the Hornet's Nest in Tennessee. That was where Grant's men hunkered down and held off all the Confederate charges. They even shot and killed General Johnson. General Beauregard was sent in to cover for Johnston. Beauregard telegraphed Richmond, claiming victory, and postponed the final attack until the next morning. That was the biggest blunder in the Civil War. The next morning at 6 a.m., Union General Don Carlos Buell came in with nearly 20,000 reinforcements and absolutely outnumbered and destroyed the Confederates remaining, and took the dub. Grant now had a clear path into Mississippi, and the Confederacy had lost its best general.